As you may or may not know, my wife and I just got back from Vegas. It was a great trip. We ate, we drank, we had a blast. But then we got home and looked at the credit card, and I gotta say, it doesn't matter how much fun you're having, $25 for a drink is a ripoff. Frickin' Vegas. I hate getting ripped off, and so do the lads over at Harry's. They spent years watching the razor blade companies rip people off and said, no more. Not all heroes wear capes, my friends, and they want to prove that they're legit by offering you hot dogs a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. I've been telling you about them for months, and I'm genuinely proud to have Harry's as a sponsor of this show. I wasn't kidding. The plastic, futuristic-looking crap razors you get at the store are overpriced and they're poor quality. Harry's blades are crisp, clean, and classy. They're the kind of razor you'd expect your grandpa to have on his bathroom counter. And most importantly, they work. Shave after shave, they're so smooth, they're precise. I used to go through the crappy store blades all the time, but Harry's are built to last. And they're not just better quality than the other names, they're more affordable. And they deliver. Just set your schedule, and for as little as $2, new blades, shaving creams, lotions, everything you need, right to your door when you need it. I genuinely cannot think of a reason not to try Harry's. And I'm not just saying this because they're sponsors. They're the best shaving supplies I've ever used. Try them out, and if you're not happy, your shave's on them. And unlike the other subscriptions, they're really easy to cancel if you want to too, which is a nice bonus, but believe me, you're not going to want to cancel. Getting ripped off isn't funny. Switch to Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. That's harrys.com/RTG for a $3 trial set. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down or call each other and geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening. And this week it is episode 91. And my pal Bradley McCue is back, and we are talking Megaman X3 for the Super Nintendo. And if you've never played Megaman X3, listen, don't worry about it. It's okay. Don't turn off the episode. Don't be like, fuck, I never played this game. I can't imagine you got this far if that's the case. I had never played this game until very recently myself because it's very, very expensive on the original Super Nintendo, and quite frankly, you may not want to play it, and that hurts me to say because I love Mega Man, but I've got some beef with Mega Man X3, and we're going to get into it on the podcast this week. Before I do that, I'm going to ramble a little, I'm going to ramble a little bit, and before I do that, I'm going to fucking vent because of the second goddamn time I had to record the intro, because the first time I spent 20 plus minutes recording it and then realized I had the wrong cord plugged into my Zoom recorder. So here's a little bit of a tip for all of you new podcasters, all you junior podcastites out there, and you want to do a goddamn show, make sure that your equipment is set up right before you talk for 20 plus minutes so you don't have to re-record everything you fucking said the first time and try to make it sound interesting again. Anyway. I got some rambling to do first, so you guys know how that works. First and foremost, if you're one of the people out there that don't like hearing about the Patreon account every month, well, this is your lucky day. You are not going to be hearing about the Patreon account for the foreseeable future because I have to shut it down. And I put a far more detailed note on our Twitter, our Instagram, our Facebook page, and the Patreon page. You can find all that stuff online if you just search for Remember the Game. But basically, the long and short of it is living here in Canada, our government is paying everyone that has lost their source of income a couple grand a month to get by and live. And as you all know, I am a stand-up comedian. And believe it or not, when nobody's allowed to sit anywhere near anywhere else, no one's going to stand-up comedy shows. So my comedy career has completely grinded to a halt. So the only source of income I had was about $200 a month through the Patreon. And so when the government rolled out this $2,000 a month plan to buy food and things, I said, well, I'm certainly signing up for that. And according to the very fuzzy guidelines that they've released, and after having some discussions with my accountant, you can't have a source of income to be eligible for that $2,000 a month, and the $200-ish amount every month I make off the Patreon counts as a source of income. So I have to temporarily suspend the Patreon so that the government will pay me to eat food. So if you are, if you are already subscribed to the Patreon, you will not be charged at the end of April. I'll be shutting down the page at the end of the week, and I'll be reactivating it when things are back to normal. You are owed some extra podcasts, and I will be releasing them to the general public for every Sunday for the rest of the month, the expansion pass episodes, because I can't put them on the Patreon feed without a Patreon page. So if you have signed up for the Patreon and been charged for April, and you are still entered in the prize draw that will be happening on Thursday, is for a $50 gift card to the system of your choice. If you would rather have your Patreon money refunded to you because you signed up to hear the extra podcasts that'll now be available for free, you have until Thursday, okay? I'm sorry it's short notice, but I have to put the claim into the government, and I have to get the Patreon shut down before I can put in the claim. So please reach out to me on Patreon. Let me know if you want your money refunded. No hard feelings. I'm not angry. I'm very sorry about the confusion. There's nothing I can do about this. This is obviously crazy times for everybody. I will still be doing all the shout-outs this month. I've got them split up into 4 groups so I can give a few shout-outs every week here in April. And the Patreon poll has already wrapped up. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic has won, so that is the game that I'll be playing through this month to give you guys an episode about in May. So there's all the Patreon information. Do not go to patreon.com and sign up right now because you can't. If you want your money back, let me know. Otherwise, the prize draw will be going down tomorrow. Kind of sucks. I'll be honest with you. Like, we worked really hard to try to get the Patreon off the ground, and now it's all gone again. But you know what? Listen, like, I'm not going to bitch here about it. I'm not going to sit here and complain. If the biggest problem that I have in my life is having to choose between $200 a month Patreon from my friends and the listeners of the show, or $2,000 from the government of my country to try to stay safe and keep food in my stomach while this whole thing happens, that is a pretty good situation to be in compared to the situation a lot of other people are finding themselves in right now. So I'm not angry. Thank you all so much for your support. The regular show is still going live every Wednesday, and the next 3 episodes of Expansion Pass will still be going live every Sunday, just for all of you guys to listen to while you're sitting around doing nothing, just like I'm going to be doing for the foreseeable future. So with that said, I want to give out some Patreon shout outs. So the following people, and again, if you don't hear your name today, there's a lot of names to mention. We had a huge month on Patreon last month, so I've split it up over every episode in April, so that way I make sure I hit everybody and you get more than just 2 seconds. Well, you're gonna get like 2 seconds, but that way I'm not rambling through all of them. Massive thank you to Andre, possibly the Giant Variation, Andrew W. I do not know what your last name is, Andrew, but I like that your last initial rhymes with the last letter of your first name. Andy Baker, who's been supporting the show forever. Thank you very much. Ashley K. Mucho appreciated. Ben Drinkin, love the handle so much. Thank you very much, dude. Ben Bulyo, who I still can't say your fucking last name, and I probably never will be able to. Charlie M. You are now officially Chuck. Chris Fleury, and the slightly less cool last name, but still equally appreciated Patreon, Chris Sumner. Chris, listen, my last name is blank, so I know all about other people having cooler last names than me. Chris Fleury is a fucking sweet name. Shout out to Corey, who works at Jersey's Cards and Comics in Virginia. I think I got that right, Corey. If I got it wrong, yell at me. Sorry, man. Daniel Brooks, longtime supporter of the show. Thank you very much. And a guy who's been on the show right from day one, Dave L. Thank you so much for supporting the show on Patreon, you guys. So that's your Patreon information. I wanted to get it out of the way and get it in so everybody understands what's happening with it. Like I mentioned, now I got some news I want to get to, and then we'll get to Megaman X3. I just bringing up my goddamn list that I already had fucking done for the first time I recorded all this. Like I mentioned, we're doing a Patreon. We were planning to do a Patreon poll every month. We won't be doing it for the next couple of months. But Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Everyone just says KOTOR, but I didn't know if everyone knew what that would be. For the original Xbox, that won this month's poll. It nearly beat out Final Fantasy Tactics. So I will be trying to get through that this month. I just downloaded it on my Xbox One for like $5. I'm going to try to get through it this month, and then you guys will receive an episode about it in May. Last month, Spyro the Dragon for the original PlayStation won the poll. I actually just finished playing it. I'll get more into that in a few minutes, and you guys will be getting an episode about that here in the coming weeks. I'm going to try to get through Final Fantasy Tactics too, but I don't know. As it is, Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out in less than 48 hours from the time this podcast goes live, so I know I literally have nothing to do now because I can't even work on the extra episodes of the podcast. But like I still have to. I'm going to be playing Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which apparently is very long, and Final Fantasy VII Remake, which apparently is 30 or 40 hours long. And those two alone should keep me busy for quite some time. I don't know about you guys, but I am fucking excited for Final Fantasy VII. I have avoided all spoilers. I have not played the demo. I looked up a few reviews just to see the scores and the playtime. I didn't want to, I don't know about you guys, but like sometimes I try not to, if it's a game that I'm pretty confident I'm going to play, I try not to even read the reviews because I don't want them to warp my opinion of the game. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you ever read a review where someone mentions, like, I don't know, the combat is very repetitive and boring, and then you can't help but think that, even if you weren't thinking it? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't want that feeling with this, because I've really been looking forward to this game for a long time, as so many of you fucking are. So, yeah, I've just avoided everything. Scores are really good. As of this morning, when I was looking on Metacritic, it had over 70 reviews, and its average score was 87 out of 100, which is pretty fucking good. So I don't normally 100% games outside of like usually Metroidvanias like Ori and stuff like that, or the few games or Mario's where I really go after everything. But like, it sounds like there's a bunch of side quests and fun stuff to do in Final Fantasy VII Remake if you want to. And I'll be honest with you guys, like I've been waiting a long time for this game, like the rest of you have. I love Final Fantasy VII. Well, I shouldn't say I love. People throw that word around too much. I really like Final Fantasy VII. And I'm pretty excited for this remake. So I think I'm going to probably do everything. Plus, I got nowhere else to be. I can't go outside. So I'll probably try to go through everything on Final Fantasy VII. If you pre-ordered it and you're kind of getting fucked on your hard copy, I'm very sorry. It's a tough spot for everyone involved. Digital is the way to go. I'm pretty excited. I got it downloading right now. Pretty goddamn excited. Oh, yeah, an expected episode on the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't know if it's going to be a spoiler cast or if it's just going to be a regular one. Maybe I'll put it up a poll and see what it'll do. That was my plan for one of the episodes of Expansion Pass later this month. And now, because the Patreon is dead, you all get it. So that'll probably be going live on the last Sunday of the month. A full-out review of Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is one of my most anticipated games of the year. And as you all know, another one of my most anticipated games of the year was The Last of Us 2. And now that is no longer one of my most anticipated games because I don't know when to anticipate it. If you didn't know, Final Fantasy VII. Last of Us, sorry, I've had a lot of coffee and I've already done this once and I'm rattled. So Last of Us 2 has been delayed indefinitely. They came out and said it the other day. Originally, I think some people thought maybe it was a tech thing, like there was a problem with the game, some bugs, quality, something like that. Then some people, myself included, thought maybe it had something to do with the subject matter and the current state of the planet. I guess without going into any spoilers, if you've never played the original Last of Us, it's set in like a world that has been decimated by like a virus and made everybody really sick and into creatures and stuff like that. And originally that's why I thought maybe they weren't releasing it. They thought it wouldn't be very sensitive right now. But now the general consensus of the stories that I have read about the Last of Us, I keep reading the word Final Fantasy VII. I'm going to scroll past that on my notes. The general consensus of all the articles I've read about The Last of Us 2 delay is that they are concerned that they can't release it physically, at least not at the volume that it has to be released. And they don't want to lose out on those sales and fuck people over. And some people have been really angry about it. But listen, like, I understand where they're coming from. First off, I have no idea how much money Naughty Dog and the powers that be at Sony have sunk into this game. But you have to think it's like high 8 figures minimum. Probably more than that. I don't know how much it costs to make a video game. They've sunk lots of fucking money into this. And they need to see a return on their investment. And outside of Final Fantasy VII Remake, Last of Us 2 is the biggest exclusive probably left in the history of the PlayStation 4. So they have to make it count. They have to cash it in. People have waited a long time for this. It's one of the most anticipated games fucking ever. And if you live somewhere where there's a data cap on your home internet, or you don't have really good internet, maybe you don't have access to downloading it digitally, now you can't play it. And now not only is Naughty Dog not getting that sale, but you may not buy it now because chances are you're going to run into spoilers before you can get your hands on a physical copy if the physical copies are getting delayed, right? And even if they could produce and ship out the physical copies, there's only a third of the stores that would be selling it open, and those stores aren't going to want a ton of people lined up to buy a physical copy of the game. So I get it. I get the delay. It sucks because I know we're all locked inside right now, and that's the game that a lot of people were looking forward to. But I get it. I want to see Naughty Dog. I want a Last of Us 3. Without even knowing what happened to Last of Us 2, I'm 1,000,000,000% confident I'm going to want a Last of Us 3. And if we're going to get a Last of Us 3, it has to be because Naughty Dog and Sony saw a return on their investment of the production of number 2. So if they want to wait and push this out when more and more people can get it day one and play it, then I have no problem with that. It just, and who knows? Maybe they'll improve the game a little bit, right? They've got a few more months now to put another, to tweak the coat of paint that's on it, and maybe they'll make it just a little bit better. So Is what it is. Kind of sucks, but it's okay. We have lots to play. Dude, just go through your backlog. I have so many games in my backlog right now. I'm replaying games. There's so much to play right now. Or I guess you could talk to your family and stuff, but like, fuck, play video games. Grow up. Speaking of video games, a few of you have reached out to tell me, and thank you all for the people that did think to yell at me. You all may know I'm a huge Messenger fan. Not MSN Messenger. Fuck, remember MSN Messenger? You can hear the smile on my... I never said this the first time I recorded this intro. I fucking loved MSN Messenger. That was the shit. The Messenger, the indie video game, the action platformy Ninja Gaiden style 8-bit to 16-bit fucking phenomenal game that's available on everything. If you haven't played it, I swear I think it's available on everything. If you haven't played it, you got to play it. Play it. Especially if you like retro games. It's probably on sale right now. It's a Ninja Gaiden type game. Ninja Gaiden, however you say it, type game that shifts from 8-bit in the past to 16-bit in the future, and you control a ninja that travels from the past to the future. It is fucking awesome. So play it. It is awesome. It is so I love that game. The developing company is called Sabotage Studio, and they are making another one. And it's a prequel set in the same world of The Messenger, but instead of it being an action-y platformer, it is, and I'm reading this right off of their Kickstarter, it is a retro-inspired turn-based RPG that looks very Chrono Trigger-ish, and it looks sick, and apparently it's set in the same world, and it's an unofficial prequel to The Messenger. It is on Kickstarter right now, and I'm a little surprised that they're going public funding and going Kickstarter for it, because like after The Messenger sold as well as it did, you would think that maybe they have the cash, or maybe there's a company out there willing to pony up the dough to back them, because now they've got the track record and the pedigree of creating The Messenger. But and this game is going to sell like fucking wildfire. But for whatever reason, they're on Kickstarter, and you can go on there right now. If you go to Kickstarter, the game is called Sea of Stars. Search for it, or you can search for Sabotage Studios, or search for The Messenger. It'll pop up. The Kickstarter is running for like another week, and their goal was 133,000 Canadian. And as of my notes this morning, they were at about 640,000 Canadian. So that's like 4 times the amount that they needed. So obviously the game is going to happen. I know some of you have talked about kickstarting it, which is rad. I don't think I'm going to for 2 or 3 reasons. The first reason is I'm not a big fan of pre-ordering games. I've said that on here before. Particularly when you buy digital like I do, there's no worry of them running out. You know what I mean? Like I can wait for like Final Fantasy VII Remake. I've waited for reviews. Now that I've seen the reviews are rad, I'll plunk down my $80 and download the game. Same thing with this, and I'm quite confident this game is going to be good and they're going to deliver, and I'm going to like it. But I'll wait. I'll wait. And the second reason I'll wait is because like money's tight right now. It's like $30-$35, and like the whole entire globe is in a recession basically, or we're about to be. And I'm not trying to make this whole podcast negative, sad stuff about what's going on in the world, but the simple fact of the matter is I'm sure a majority of us are kind of watching our pennies right now, and I would rather spend that $35. If I'm not going to spend it on food, I would rather spend it on a game that I could play right now over a game that I could play in God knows when this thing comes out. But it looks rad. Go check it out, especially if you like The Messenger or you like vintage RPGs. Highly recommend it. It's on Kickstarter. Search for Sea of Stars. You'll find it. Looks fucking dope. Pretty excited about that. Speaking of cash and not having a lot of cash, Nintendo Switches are getting scalped all over the place. All over. I shouldn't say all over the place. I know they're getting scalped in North America. I don't know if this is a problem in for you folk down under in Australia, or all you people over in the UK, or wherever the fuck it is you're listening to this. But if you live here in North America and you want a Nintendo Switch, chances are you cannot find one. They are sold out everywhere. And I looked on Kijiji this morning, and there's people selling them on there brand new in the box for like $500. Which is fucking stupid. $600. Kiss my ass. Listen, like I know some of you want Nintendo Switches because you're stuck at home and you're bored. Maybe you've got kids. I totally could believe it, especially if you have kids running around the house driving you crazy and you want to give them something to do. Do not cave in to these sons of bitches selling these things marked up online, okay? Nintendo is not stupid. They're fully aware of the demand. They are going to produce more of these things. They are going to show up in the wild, and you're going to be able to get one at regular price if you just monitor online. Don't go to the fucking stores looking for one. Just watch online on Best Buy and Walmart and all those things. You'll find one, okay? Don't cave in. Just let your kid play on their iPad or fucking whatever it is that they do. And I do say, listen, like obviously it sucks that people are scalping them and stuff like that, but like you guys all know I'm a Nintendo fanboy through and through. And it's so awesome that the Switch is over 3 years old and they still can't keep it on the shelf. And I understand that maybe there's a certain situation going on right now that's making them more in demand. But the fact of the matter is that the Switch is selling like fucking hot. It's on fire, like wildfire. I've had a lot of coffee. It's selling like completely fucking off the charts. It's insane. Like it's outselling the Wii after 3 years. And the Wii is if I'm not mistaken, I believe I am, the Wii is and if I'm not mistaken, and I believe I am. If I'm not mistaken, and I don't believe I am, the Wii is the only home console to ever outsell one of the 4 PlayStations. And I believe it outsold the PlayStation 3. I think if you look at the 5 best-selling systems, home consoles of all time, it's the PS2, the PS4, the PlayStation, the Wii, and the PS3. I mean, maybe not in that order. But anyway, and this thing is on pace to outsell it. So if this could become the best-selling Nintendo console of all time, then especially bouncing back from the train wreck that was the Wii U, that is fucking awesome for Nintendo. So anyway, that was me yelling at how much I love the Switch. But if you want one, just wait. You'll find one, okay? I promise. And that's easy for me to say. I'm not sitting in a house full of children that are looking for something to do, and you could give them a Switch and send them off to the room and fucking ignore them. And quite frankly, I just live with my girlfriend, and if I didn't have a Nintendo Switch and we were locked in this house together, she would be trying to find one right now to get me off her back and get me to shut up. So I understand the thought of caving and paying these cocksuckers that are selling these things on the second market. Do not fucking do it. Screw them. Let them sit at home with their fucking Nintendo Switches and think about what they've done, and you'll get one later. I promise. And then finally, before I get into what I've been playing and we talk Mega Man X3, thank you to all of you that have been watching the Adam Sucks at Video Games Let's Plays over on YouTube. I've had a few messages from you guys saying how much you enjoy them, which is really cool. I do intend on shooting a couple more. I'm thinking about doing a Mega Man game, and I'm thinking about doing Crash Bandicoot. Again, youtube.com/rememberthegame. You can find my Let's Plays there. You know what I found out from recording these Let's Plays? I don't really enjoy doing Let's Plays. I don't really enjoy the process. And quite frankly, a few people have asked me about streaming and on Twitch and stuff like that. And I'm not shitting on anyone that does that because I think it's cool. And if that's how you enjoy your video games, fucking do you. I just don't really enjoy it. I don't like, especially being a comedian where I have to go on stage and talk and be on, you know what I mean? It's like, I just want to play my video games and not talk. And frankly, when I'm playing those old games, more often than not, I put on a podcast or my music on my phone and just kind of space out and play them. So I probably am going to record a couple more Let's Plays, but don't expect one every day or anything like that. If you like watching me swear or you like hearing me swear and you want to see me die a lot of video games, check them out though. Adam Sucks at Video Games. You can search for that or just search again, youtube.com/rememberthegame. Do not watch them with your kids. Unless you don't care if your kids hear profanity, do not watch them with your kids. Because you think I swear a lot on this show, watch those. So I probably will record a couple more and play some more games. What have I been playing over the last week? That was a lot smoother segue the first time I recorded this fucking intro. I will tell you, I finished Spyro the Dragon on my PlayStation, my hacked PlayStation Classic. I finished the original version of Spyro the Dragon for the first time because I won the Patreon poll in March. You guys will be getting an episode about it here on the show in the next month. I don't want to spoil anything because I'm going to talk about it on the show, but I would say there's some good and some bad. Good outweighs the bad, but there's certainly some fucking bad, and you're going to get a rant when we record that episode. But for the most part, really enjoyed it. I want to play the other two. I'd like to try the Reignited trilogy eventually as well. I was playing Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice on Game Pass, and I tapped out about halfway through. If you've never played it, look it up. It's certainly fascinating what they were trying to do. The audio, it has to be played with headphones on. The audio and the voices, they're basically, you play a girl who's having a crazy situation and there's voices in her head talking to you. The audio is phenomenal. It's gorgeous looking. The story didn't grip me enough to play through the frankly boring gameplay. It's very walking simulator based. The puzzles are not very creative. I wanted to like it so bad, and I'm like, dude, at this point I have so many games sitting here that I want to play that if something's not fun, I'm not going to play it, and that's just where I hit with Hellblade. But check it out. I wouldn't suggest buying it. It's on Game Pass, so if you've got Game Pass, try it there. Otherwise, I would look it up before you shell out the money to pay for it or to play it. But a really cool concept. I'm interested to see how the sequel goes. I've been playing a ton of Mario Odyssey on my Switch, finishing my replay of that. I finished the main story a couple of days ago. I beat Bowser. And now I'm just going around the planets collecting all the moons again. I 100%ed that game before. I plan on 100%ing it again. I think I'm at about 400 moons right now. God damn, that game is good, man. So fucking good. And the fact that it's on my Switch and I can play it while I'm watching TV with my girlfriend or something is just I fucking love Mario Odyssey. Just comfort food to the max. And speaking of my Switch and awesome games that I like to be able to play while watching TV, I cannot stop playing Slay the Spire. I know I talked about it last week. I'm going to talk about it again. If you are at all interested in a roguelike, dungeon crawling, card combat, single player experience, I cannot recommend it enough. Every run is different. There's a few different characters that all get different cards and play different with different mechanics, and you get different items that that affect how you play. And it's so fucking good. I can't stop playing it. It's just one more game. Slay the Spire, highly recommended, particularly on the Switch because it's portable, but it's on Game Pass. So if you have an Xbox or a PC and Game Pass and you want to give it a shot, highly recommended. Slay the Spire is the shit. And that is what I've been playing. That's good enough. Let's get into episode 91. Sorry the intro was so long. I wanted to get a lot off my chest. We are talking Megaman X3 for the Super Nintendo. Like I said off the top, I'm a Mega Man junkie. I've played through all 11 of the original core Mega Man games, including the most recent one. And I really like 9.5 of those 11. Number 1 is a 0.5. It's okay. It's just a little rough around the edges. And I don't care what anybody says. Mega Man 8 sucks. But 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, and 11 are all fucking awesome. Mega Man X, the original, is my favorite Mega Man game of all time. I never played 2 or 3 when I was a kid. And then I got them on a couple of collections, like on the GameCube, and just didn't really care for the lag and stuff and never played them that way. And I certainly never collected the game carts because those cartridges are worth hundreds of dollars now. But I finally downloaded Mega Man X Collection on my Switch and decided to play through X3 for this podcast. And I didn't really like it. I kind of liked it. Like if Mega Man X is ice cream, Mega Man X3 is like freezer burnt ice cream. It's not as good. My guest Bradley McCue is returning to the show this week from the Movie Epidemic podcast. Check him out if you have time on your hands, which I know you fucking do right now. And listen to us explain the good and the bad of Mega Man X3, which we're about to do. I'm going to cue some kick-ass music because it's still a Mega Man game. The music is always awesome. And we're going to talk about Mega Man X3, which originally released on the Super Nintendo here in North America on December 1st, 1995. If this intro didn't work this time, I'm not re-recording it. You're not getting a fucking episode this week. Hopefully it worked. Kick back, relax, wash your hands, wash your controllers, and listen to Bradley and I talk Mega Man X3. Here we go. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Everyone that listens to this podcast knows about our illustrious CEO, my dog Molly. But the other silent partner behind the scenes is my wife. And let me tell you, my friends, a 17-year relationship with another person that has to talk to and live with you is a lot harder to maintain than one with a dog. We've had our ups and downs, and as you all know, a relationship isn't all sunshine and rainbows. They can be a lot of work. You get out what you put in when it comes to relationships, and talking to a therapist can be a fantastic way to put in some work. They can help you work through your issues, learn to communicate better, and even just provide you with an ear to bend when you need it. I've talked to my therapist about my relationships, especially when it came to my stand-up comedy career and how much I was away from home, and they helped me work on ways to keep my relationship strong even when I was out on the road. It turned out our relationship was actually better when I was out on the road, but that's a story for another day. And I know, right? Therapy. Who has the time these days? BetterHelp hears you, and they're making it easy. Fill out a quick form online, and they'll match you up with a therapist that suits your needs and that'll work around your schedule. You pick the meet times, and you can get your therapy fix from anywhere, over video, phone, or just chat. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit BetterHelp.com/rememberthegame today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. So, hey, man, whenever I'm on the road, I'm always nervous that I'm going to do something wrong, and we're going to finish these recordings, and then I'm going to get home and find out it didn't work. But it says it's recording. I can hear me. Can I hear you? Say hi.
Check, check, check.
I can hear you.
You can hear me.
So if it doesn't work now, it's just the video game gods don't want us talking about Mega Man X3.
Which is right. Correct.
Which is right, yeah. You guys, I'm down. I'm in Calgary. This is Remember the Game on the road, and I am back at Bradley McCue's beautiful home He has been so kind to invite me in at 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what the fuck is with you fucking guests. Being like, hey, let's record before 10 a.m. But this is the norm now. Bradley, how are you?
I'm doing very well. I've been up for several hours. I can't sleep in. I'm not that kind of guy. Just can't sleep in.
I can't either, but I don't like, it doesn't mean that I'm all like, I get up at 7 and I'm like, la, la, la. Like, let's go talk to society.
I wake up at 7 and I'm like, I could go back to sleep, but I got video games to play.
That's what I was literally playing Halo 2 an hour ago
really?
In my hotel room, just laying in bed. I was like, I don't want to get up.
Love that
Fuck.
Game.
I can't. I love it. I don't love this game as much.
Yeah, the one we're talking about today.
Now, having said that, listen,
I do like it. To be fair, I do
too. We're talking Megaman X3, and for any of you that are listening, I know a ton of you probably played Mega Man X. I'm sure not all of you played Mega Man X3. I'm a Mega Man fanatic, and I never played X3 as a kid. Mm-hmm. It's gonna hurt my heart to rip this game apart because Mega Man's my guy.
Yeah,
so
easy boy.
And we got to be gentle because he's Mega, like he's on my computer. Mega Man X is on my computer right now. Mega Man's my main in Smash. I love him. I love X. Would you? Okay, just before we get into shitting on X3.
Okay. Well, we're not gonna shit on it completely.
No, we'll poop on it a little bit. What's your favorite Mega Man game? I'm just curious.
Well, like I don't want to be a basic bitch, but like Mega Man 2 is so good. Like it just truly is so good. However, I do have a lot of love for Mega Man X1, which I also really love.
Yeah,
and I also really like actually Mega Man 3 as well. I thought they got a little bit too buck wild later in the series. Like Mega Man 7 is the one that I always think about when I'm like, man, that is way too crazy.
Okay.
Whereas wait. Was it Mega Man 7 or 8?
Well, one was fine. It just was obviously them, laying out the blueprint. 2 was the gold standard. 3 is also the gold standard.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, 4 is either when they introduced. I believe 4 is when they introduced the Mega Buster. And they might have introduced it in 3. One of them they introduced the Mega Buster, and then shortly after they introduced the slide, and that's when the game didn't break, but they started to get really easy.
Yeah, I agree. Like 4 and 5, I never found super challenging. And to be fair, I don't think 2 is that hard.
No, it's
either.
not at all. No, it's not. 1 is the hard one.
Yeah, one is crazy. I've never beat 1.
1's vicious.
I'll never beat 1 probably.
And then, sorry about the Mega Man retrospective, guys. It has been like 80 episodes since I talked Mega Man on here. And if it was up to me, maybe this would, well, I guess it is up to me. This would just be Remember the Mega Man. Like, I would do a Mega Man episode every week.
Remember the Mega Man?
I love
podcast.
Mega Man. 7 was the Super Nintendo one, where they got really big and really bright. It gets a lot of shit from people. I don't hate it. I just thought everything got too big. Like Mega Man took up too much of the screen when they tried to.
And then 8 was on the PS1.
8's the one I despise.
Yeah, and I had that one at one point and I got rid of it because I don't even like it.
Sucks.
Like it's terrible.
And then
9 I actually love.
I love 9 and 10.
No, 9 is great. 9 I think falls into the Mega Man 2 category where it's a little bit too easy.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
10 I think is because like 2 is easy and 3 is hard.
Yeah.
And then 9 is easy and 10 is hard, I think.
Yeah, like from the original series. And then some people shit on Mega Man 11. I thought Mega Man 11 was fat. Like
never played it. Have not played it.
Oh, I 100%ed it.
I see the Xbox One copy for like $14 every now and again, and I think about buying it, and then I don't.
It's fucking hard, but I loved it. But if you take 11 out of the equation and you go with the original 10, I think it's 2, 3, 9, and 10 are my favorites out of that series.
I actually agree.
Yeah, I think most logical Mega Man fans are going to have those 4 as their top 4 in some order.
But the thing about Mega Man,
don't yell at me, everybody. Sorry.
The thing about Mega Man that's so crazy is that they had like so many different series going all at once. And to be honest, the Mega Man and the Mega Man X series are the only ones I played. But then there was like the Zero series, and then there was like a turn-based RPG one. There was like
the card games or something.
Battle Network. I think
yeah,
it was
that's
called.
it.
Yeah, and like and maybe that was more tactical. I don't really remember. I've only seen like screenshots of it, and I'm like, how the fuck does that exist?
Yeah, same here. I feel like the Battle Network Mega Man looks like such a bitch. Like he just looks like such a weenie.
Mega Man.
And I'm like, I don't want to use you. Like,
yeah.
And then you get into Mega Man X, and I agree. Like Mega Man X, the original, is not only my favorite Mega Man X game, it's my favorite Mega Man game.
I'd say I like 2 a little bit more, but X is certainly up there for me.
I fucking love, and I think that X, when he's in all of his white armor, looks like such a badass. Well, I fucking love it. Like,
and the thing about Mega Man X is that much like Mega Man 2, it's quite achievable to beat it. You
absolutely.
know? Like
I don't understand how people talk. Like, listen, okay, I'm not going to completely rant about this. I fucking hate it when I'm stuck in a game and then I go online and look up like, hey, how do I beat this or something?
Yeah.
And in the comments, it's all people being like, this is easy, get good, this is easy. Guess what? Not everything is easy for everybody. Don't fucking tell me it's easy. It's not fucking easy or I wouldn't be here.
And I'm
looking
sure
for your goddamn advice.
I'm sure there's going to be Mega Man fanatics who listen to the show and be like, "Whoa, man, these guys fucking suck."
Absolutely, there is.
Yeah.
Like, now, having said that, I don't understand how people find Mega Man X that hard.
Yeah,
like I do.
The first one, yeah.
I find X2 challenging, and 3 is vicious.
Weird thing is, I've actually never played Mega Man X2. I've played 1 and 3 only, but I've never played 2. That being said, specifically for this podcast, I bought the Mega Man X Legacy Collection.
Me too. Yeah. I've been looking for an excuse to buy it.
Yeah, on Xbox One. It was on sale for like $15 when we were talking about like, hey, what do we want to do on the podcast? And we were like, Mega Man X3. And I'm like, oh, sweet. Let's see if I can find a deal. And it was on sale on Xbox, so I bought it.
Fuck yeah.
And I've been playing it. But.
So I don't find 1 that bad. 2's not that bad, but 3... Let's get into Mega Man X3.
Let's talk about it.
This is a very expensive cart. Like if you wanted to go out and buy the cartridge for the Super Nintendo now,
I think it's like $300. Yeah,
because it's rare. And so if you're one of the people listening to this that never played it growing up, you're not alone. I never did. I mean, Bradley did, and I don't know how he's ended up not as a serial killer.
I had it. I had the Mega Man X collection. I think it was just called Mega Man X collection, and it was on GameCube.
Yep,
and. The weird thing is, this actually is something I was thinking about last week that's really pissing me off, is that how come on GameCube we could have a Mega Man X collection that has 1 through 6, but then on the Xbox One, which can handle more, they're like, yeah, we can only fit 4 of these things in here.
Well, I know that the Switch version, because I bought it on Switch,
has all of them. Right?
Well, no, it's only got 1 to 4, and then the Mega Man X Legacy Collection 2 has 5 through 8.
Man, what a cash grab! Fuck
That's
them.
all it is. Them.
Just put it all on one thing.
I've never played Mega Man X 5 through 8, but every review I've read has said, "Do not spend your money on this package."
Yeah,
don't even garbage.
Don't even try it. Yeah.
And that really just like and I swear to God, we are going to talk X3. It really drives me crazy. How do you fuck up Mega Man or Mega Man X? It should just be give us 8 new bosses that look cool, give us some rad weapons and some good music
and some really cool upgrades.
That's all we need. Like the formula, it literally is I'm telling you, Bradley, if they released a Mega Man every year and they just did it like FIFA, where it was like Mega Man 21, Mega Man 22, Mega Man 23, and all it was a reskin with 8 new bosses and some new weapons and some upgrades, I would buy it every year. I would never complain. It's not hard to break because the secret sauce is laid out and the formula is perfect, and yet you somehow found a way to break Mega Man X. And maybe X3 is the beginning of the breaking of X that turned into 5 through 8, because X3 is broken. It plays... Okay, let's get into it. Mega Man X3 plays like it was made in a Mega Man Maker by fucking just fans that have no polish and no real ability. It's just there's no balance to it. The levels are boring.
I actually do agree with that. No, I do have some nice things to say about Mega Man X3.
I do too.
Let's talk about the shit. Okay, so big thing about this game is that the levels are so fucking easy.
Yeah,
like the levels are so easy.
Okay, well. See, they kind of are. Like, one of my big problems with this game is, and like Mega Man from Mega Man 1 or 2 has always relied on insta-deaths, like with the spikes and the pits. And sometimes those fucking spikes can really chap my ass because it's a trial and error. The only way you know they're there is to fall and land on them. But I feel like there were points in this game where they really relied on that mechanic. You know what I mean? Like I'd fall through. I can't remember I think it was Blast Hornet stage. But you're riding a conveyor belt. You fell through, and if you don't happen to be hugging the left or right of the screen, you just fall into a pit in like 2 seconds. And you die.
Yeah. I was actually playing that level right before you got here, and I know exactly.
That's not good level design. When you rely on that over and over again, or the ice level, there's fucking points where you slide and you don't even realize how quick you're sliding, and then you're right onto spikes.
Yeah,
that pissed me off. That really chapped. Like once I can live with, but when it's over and over and over again, suck my ass. That's just fucking terrible design. Well, so I have a problem with that.
The problem with this game is that because the levels are so easy, aside from like the insta-deaths and the spikes, you end up memorizing them, and you know where every enemy is going to be. Also, hold up, let's talk about this for a second. the respawning enemies in this game is fucking ridiculous.
It is, like,
it's so insane.
Mega Man has always had respawning enemies, but this one, it doesn't even feel like they need to be off the screen. It just
even,
feels like you have to look the other way.
They need to be like on the border of the screen.
And dude, and the fucking enemies, like, they take so much health.
Yeah.
When did this happen? I've played a lot of Mega Man. It's not like there are bad guys in this game, and not bosses, but just regular bad guys that take a third of your health when they hit you.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is this?
Well, the whole point is that I think the game kind of wants you to not like work at one level at a time, but try this level, then try this level, because they have so many different like health upgrades. And by the way, the leg upgrade that when I first started playing this game, I'm like, before I do fucking anything, I have to get that leg upgrade where you can dash in the air.
Yeah.
Without it, the game's fucking impossible.
Okay, yeah, but so there's another problem then, is that like in classic Mega Man fashion, particularly Mega Man X, there's like the 4 Dr. Light chambers around, and you can find them and you can get your power ups, and it's like better blaster, you can get armor, you can get the dash thing, and then you can get like an upgrade for your helmet, which actually I'll get into because I actually loved that. I'll get into that in a minute.
I do like this mechanic in theory.
Me too,
for sure.
But you're right, the game itself is so reliant on that dash equip like thing, and they don't tell you. Like I'm huge on trying not to look up Mega Man orders. I don't want to know the boss order. I don't want to know the walk. Because like not only can you find a boss order, but you can find like a start at this level because you'll get this upgrade, which helps you here, and then go here and here. And I'm big on trying to avoid that. I'm like, I like to go in blind and figure it out myself. I hit a point finally after about 2 hours of not being able to beat anyone where I was like, okay, I got to look up. Where the fuck do I start? And then everyone was like, go get this fucking leg upgrade. And then you go get the leg upgrade where not only can you like, because you could already dash on the ground, it gave you the ability to dash in the air and dash straight up.
Yeah.
That is a game changer. And it was like you designed your game around this mechanic. How the fuck do you just hide this mechanic in one of the levels? And not only is it just in one of the levels, but it's hidden in one of the levels.
Yeah, it's in an area that you would never in a million years think to look.
No, it's fucking like Mega Man X. You have to get the dash slide from Chill Penguin stage, but that chamber is literally in the middle of the level. You walk up to it. Like, you can't miss it, and that's smart. They're like, hey, you're gonna need this mechanic to play through the game. Here it is. Why the fuck? I'm telling you, this game, like, it feels like this game's not done. It feels like they got all the basic sprites in, they got all the bosses figured out, they got all this shit figured out, and then they're like, hey, we should go back through, balance out the difficulty, maybe put some of the chambers where they have to be and stuff like that.
And someone was like, no, we got to go to print.
Yeah, someone was like, the Super Nintendo's dead. We need to get going. Because I think that's part of the reason this game is...
Was this 95, 96?
Yeah, it was end of 95.
Yeah.
So it was very close to being dead. Yeah. And it legitimately feels like it was rushed out before the Super Nintendo was dead. That's how it feels to me. Because you're right. How in the fuck is that dash mechanic hidden? That made me so angry. And when I found it...
Because you have to have it. You need it.
Oh, when you find... Like, so many of the boss fights become tolerable. When you can wall climb, which I've always loved that Mega Man X can wall climb. Yeah. Always loved that. When you can wall climb, jump off the wall, and then dash left or right to go over the boss you're fighting, it makes the whole game playable. You're like, oh, how the fuck wasn't he just equipped with this when the game started?
It's still tough, but it's manageable.
God
at that point.
damn it!
I know you had said that you tried not to like look up level orders and boss orders and things like that. Now admittedly, so when I played this game as a kid, this is my story. When I played this on the Mega Man X collection on GameCube, I got all of the guys down. I got every single boss down, and then I only had the last level, and that was too hard, and I probably gave up. I don't know. I was a kid, right? Yeah. And so me, as an adult, I was like, oh, I had a baby brain then. Now I have an adult brain, so I'm going to be better at this game now. No way. I'm way worse now.
But you know what, dude? I think a lot of these games, it's not so much baby brain. It's like, well, this is the game I own. So this is the game I'm going to play over and over and over and over and over until I figure it out. Whereas now as an adult, like, you have an Xbox sitting right there full of games. Yeah. So you're like, no, you do not get that much patience from me anymore.
I have Game Pass, so if I'm playing a game and 30 minutes goes by and I'm not digging it, so long.
Fuck me,
on
man.
to the next thing. You know?
I died so many times, and then I finally beat that stupid crab, which isn't even where you're supposed to start. And then fuck Bradley. So at this point, I hadn't looked up a guide. I didn't have the dash boots. I had no chambers. I beat that stupid crab, and so I was like, all right, well, one of these 7 guys, I'm going to be able to own him with the crab's weapon. One of them. I played through all 7 levels. last guy was finally the one that was weak against the crab, and then I still couldn't beat him.
Yeah, so that's one thing I wanted to talk about, because when I was playing this game in the past couple of weeks, I'll be honest here, I couldn't get very far. I really couldn't as an adult. I beat 2 of the bosses out of the 8, but I did. I looked up like who was weak to what because I wanted to get through the game so I could talk about it on this podcast. And so I looked up and I found that Neon Tiger was weak to the crab thing, because the crab one was the first one I beat too. I looked up the boss order and the internet was fucking useless to me. Like they
all go to some other weird order, and
they go in like this crazy order that like is no way that's achievable.
I don't
like,
get
this
it.
is the easiest way.
Yeah.
So yes, the crab one was the first one, because you told me, you're like, try the crab one first. I promise you, the internet's lying. This is the best way to start. So I tried the crab one first. I was able to beat the crab one. Then I looked up what was weak to the crab, and it was Neon Tiger. Yeah. And so I went to the Neon Tiger stage, which, by the way, might be the hardest stage in this game.
Yeah, I give you that.
Neon Tiger's actual stage.
Yeah.
But then I got to the boss, and I was like, oh, here we go. Because I remember, like, in, like, Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 3, like, as soon as you do have that weakness, it's like one hit takes, like, a quarter of their damage. And you're like, fuck
dude, even the early X games, what I always, and admittedly, eventually I started to get a hang of it in this game. In the early X games, I loved how when you had a guy's weakness and you hit him with it, not only did it do a bunch of damage, but he, like, reacted different. Yeah. Like, oh, man, I'm embarrassed that I can't. The armored armadillo, I think is what his name was, or something.
In
X. Yeah. If you hit him with like the electrical thing, he like does this big animation where he turns into like a skeleton and gets shocked, and then his armor falls off. Yeah. And then now you're like, oh, I got his weakness. Yeah. And this one, I didn't feel like anyone reacted to their weakness. The only thing is they wouldn't do their attack. And so like, and that's what I started to figure out. More and more of the guys, once you've got their weakness, hit them quick. Then instead of attacking, they're just going to jump or do something. And then as soon as they land, hit them again. Then hit him again. Then hit him. It got to the point where I could kill guys without taking damage, because I realized like they're not even doing anything. Just hit them once, they'll jump. Hit them once, and they'll jump. And that's part of my problem with this game too. So I think some of the bosses look rad. Yeah. But the boss fights are shit. Like they either rely on shitty, cheap ass, let's just touch you to hurt you mechanics.
Oh yeah. And that is my biggest problem with this game. I think is that like, because the bosses. I agree. They don't really use their attacks that much. Like I was just fighting Blast Hornet before you came in, and he just kept flying into me. And every time he flew into me, which by the way he's too fast to react to, took like a third of my health.
I know, and like, dude, yeah, I've always hated that. Not just about Mega Man, but about like, I mean, I understand that. I mean, if you snapped your fingers and no bad guy damaged you as a good guy, if he just touched you, you would break video games. Like, I understand they have to do that. Yeah. But this game, I feel, is too reliant. They just made these huge bosses that take up half the screen, and all they do is touch you. They don't do any cool attacks, fucking nothing, which I thought was such bullshit. And once you start to realize that all you've got to do is fucking hit them once with their weakness, they're going to move, hit them once with their, figure out how to dodge them, and hit them again, and hit them. I was like, now it's equally as frustrating the other way, because it went from I can't beat this to like, this is boring. Like, it just feels like a half-assed Mega Man game. Fucking really chaps my ass. And then, like you said, you're so goddamn reliant on those dash boots, which is fucking ridiculous.
Especially like the Blizzard Buffalo. Is that what his name is?
Yeah.
But Blizzard Buffalo. Man, those dash boots might as well make that boss do nothing. Like, it makes it so easy to beat him once you have those dash boots. But again, when the fuck would you ever find those organically?
It's so fucking stupid. And then, if we're talking about stupid things that X3 does, after you beat 2 bosses, then they show a scene where they introduce Bit and Bite. They're these 2 like henchmen.
God, yeah, this is the shit I hate. And Vile, I think.
And Vile shows up too. Which I have such a soft spot for Vile from the original Mega Man X that it's like, all right. So I ran into Vile. Because I found he had like a secret teleport booth that like takes you to him, and I found it and I went and fought him. I actually beat him pretty quick. I was like, all right, that's fair. Yeah. But Bit and Bite, in every level you fucking hit a point, and I hate this for so many reasons. In every level you hit a point where there's like you go into like a room where it would be like a mid boss. Yeah. But then like most of the time there's no mid boss. It's just an empty room. Yeah. And then after you beat 2 bosses, sometimes one of Bit or Bite, I can't remember the smaller one. Shows up, but only at random sometimes.
And he'll own you.
And he will fucking destroy you. But if you have his weakness, then admittedly him I was able to beat with his weakness and a couple energy tanks.
Is his weakness the ice?
Yes.
Ice, yeah.
Which is ridiculous because that weapon is so shit.
Yeah.
It's so hard to use because you shoot it, and then this ice spike. Am I
just
going to wake your
stands
neighbors
still
up?
for a second.
I'm not going to wake your neighbors up fucking screaming, am I?
You might. It's fine. My landlord lives next door. I might get evicted. Who cares?
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. If you fucking shoot these ice spikes, they sit in the air for like 10 seconds before they move.
Yeah.
So unless Bit flies into it, it misses them. And then you're wasting your weapon energy.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, all you have left is the X-Buster, which, thank Christ, actually, the X-Buster in this game is pretty good.
It is good.
I find that, like, even like when I was fighting Neon Tiger, like, I was at a point where I was using his weakness a whole bunch, and then I was like, fuck this. I'm just using the Buster.
Yeah.
It's better.
Yeah.
Like, it just is better.
So I read about Bit and Bite because I could not beat these fucking guys. I looked up Bit's weakness. And then I read, and this is ridiculous to me. I don't know how the fuck anyone would have figured this out prior to the internet. If you don't kill Bite with his weak weapon, which is the ice thing, I think.
Yeah.
You have to fight him again later in Doppler's castle, and he's even stronger.
Oh my God.
But if you kill him with his secret or his weakness, then he blows up, and then you don't have to fight him again later. And I was like, how the fuck would anyone figure that out?
Capcom, I've got a question for you, and it's what the fuck?
So you fight Bit after you kill two bosses, but only random. Sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't. And if you didn't happen to kill the guy that has his weakness before you fight him, now you can't kill him with his weakness. Now you're going to have to fight him again later. It's like you're getting punished for going in the wrong order, but you don't know what the right fucking order is.
Yeah.
And then after you beat 6 bosses or 4 bosses, I can't remember, now the other one shows up at random times. And he is the cheapest fat piece of shit. He grabs you, and he takes away like 8 in 2 hits, he kills you. And I was getting so fucking angry. So I finally looked up like a YouTube tutorial on how to beat him. And then I was like, oh, this is actually, and then I beat him without even getting touched.
Well, here's the thing that really chaps my ass, especially about this Bit and Bite thing, all right? Since we're talking about Bit and Bite, is that
Stupid names, by the way.
Yeah, it's completely random. I think there's two levels that organically have the mid bosses, and that's like the giant centipede boss, and then the lazy ass star polygon boss.
That's fucking such a
blast hornet stage,
which again feels like something that they were like halfway. It's like literally just like the outside like Star Fox style polygon.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like, again, it felt like they just were like, oh yeah, we'll come back to that. And
yeah,
they never
like,
did.
Shit, we ran out of time. Just we don't need to. We don't need to do this shit anymore.
But sorry, so you're saying there's only 2 mid-level bosses?
Yeah, there's 2 mid-level bosses. There's that, and then there's the big centipede dragon thing.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't have that hard of a time with the centipede dragon.
No,
I didn't think he was that hard.
No, me neither.
Or the polygon one, but because that one's so random, like you're gonna take a couple of hits no matter what.
Yeah, but if you just spam the Buster, you will kill him before he kills you.
You'll be able to kill him before he kills you. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. And usually he drops health. Sometimes he drops something else, but usually he drops health.
Yeah.
But then when you get the Bit and Bite, because it's random, sometimes you'll be going through a stage and you'll just go through it regular. You'll get to the boss, and then you'll be like, all right, here we go. And you'll start to fight the boss, and you'll almost get him killed, and then you game over, and you're like, fuck. But I was so close to beating that boss. Let's just go back into that level again. And then you go back into the level, and then fucking Bit shows up. And
It's
you're
so
like,
ridiculous.
And you're like, this fucking guy wasn't here last time.
So you just put 2 random, incredibly difficult bosses into the midpoint of levels at no particular intervals is fucking stupid.
Well, and I'll be honest. When I was a kid, I beat these bosses, but this time around, I didn't. I was actually fighting Bit like right before you came. I was having just fucking such a hard time with it. But if you kill Bit and then you continue to play the level and then game over, does that unkill Bit? Or do you have to fight him again?
I don't know.
Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know, because when I did kill them, I finished the levels.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, dude, and I hate relying on them, but I just had no choice. Once I got my hands on about 3 E-tanks, I would go back to, I want to say Blast Hornets level. Whichever level has those little guys on the conveyor belts.
Yeah, that's Blast Hornet.
They drop a lot of health.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go back there and just fill up my E-tanks.
I know,
And
like,
then I will say, I actually prefer the X series' rechargeable E-tanks to the original Mega Man.
yeah, like the Metroid
consumable
style sub tanks. That they have.
I greatly prefer that, and I feel cheap about doing it. But I was like, the only way I'm going to beat this is to fucking spam refilling my E-tanks.
Yeah, and what I do is I fill those sub tanks, and then when I'm actually fighting the boss, I will wait until I will like spend the first 2 lives trying to figure out what makes it tick and get used to the boss again. Then when I have 0 again, it's like, all right, here we go, going in with the Mega Buster.
This is the big one. Yeah. Exact same thing. Figure out his pattern, figure out his weakness. Last life, now it's time to use the E-tanks. Yeah. And then when you still die anyways, and now your E-tanks are empty. And
but like, that is my problem with this game, is that I almost never die outside the boss fights. Almost never die outside the boss fights, because it just feels like a game, and then you get to the boss fights.
Yeah, and that's another problem I have with this game, is it's not only the levels not really that other sides from those stupid cheap deaths, which you figure out where they are and then you can avoid them.
The levels seem a little emptier than they do in X.
Does it only feel feels like there's like a dozen enemy robots that they just sprinkle through every level?
Yeah.
Like not like a dozen per level, but a dozen for the game.
Yeah, a dozen different ones.
And they
there's
just
like,
sprinkled them.
Yeah, there's like the one that throws the ball and chain, which is my least favorite one, by the way. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, me too.
Then there's the one that shoots the projectiles over you, in an arc.
Yeah.
And then there's the the dragonfly one, which I also hate that one a lot because it's hard to hit.
Yeah, but
if it flies off screen, it comes back with full health. Fucking guy.
It just the levels feel like you run for a good 10-15 seconds while running into a bad guy, and then when you do, it's the same couple of bad guys over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And again, like, I can't stress it enough. And I'm reading right now that just quickly, it does say that it was a little bit
rushed.
It says here, the North American and European SNES version of Mega Man X3 are very rare due to their limited run and the fact that they were released during declining support of the console. So I guarantee you, they were like, "Yo, the Super Nintendo's dying.
Yeah, we
got to get this out." Because I'm telling, and you will never convince me otherwise. This feels like a game that's 2/3 done. That's what this feels like.
Was X4 on the PlayStation? I think it was.
I believe so. Yeah, it certainly wasn't the Super Nintendo. So it was something else.
So there was only the trilogy, the Holy Trinity,
and 1 and 2, like it's not even like they lap 3. And when 3 is like, we have the same engine on the same console, there's no reason for it to be that much of a step back. It wasn't done. I would you will never convince me that they had to rush it through and get it done.
Yeah. One thing that's like, anybody who's thinking about playing these Mega Man X games, I'm going to give a tip that actually you gave to me. If you're playing this game, remap your controls. Holy shit,
dude!
Because the worst thing about this game is that Y is your dash and X is your buster and A is jump.
Yeah.
You can't hit all 3 of those buttons at the same time.
No, and it's a game that's so and it's crazy because I'm telling you, like, I haven't played X1 or 2 in a while, but I'm positive that dash, jump, and shoot are those 3 buttons again, but it never felt broken like it does in this one.
Yeah.
Like, I had to go into this one. Once you map your controls and put dash to a trigger hand, at least that's what I did.
That's what I did too.
Made it, like, because it's so reliant on that dash that, like, once you can dash while you're charging your blaster and jump, changes. It's still broken, but it does change the game.
You know what I find annoying about the Mega Man X Legacy Collection, though, and I don't know if it's the same on Switch as it is on Xbox One, is that when you remap your controls, it doesn't save it. So every time I wanted to play this game, I had to go back into the menu and remap my controls again.
You know what? I think you're right.
Yeah.
When I was playing it on my Switch, I only ever closed it once because I would just put it to sleep.
Oh, right. Yeah,
but there was one time I had to remap it. And I think I had switched over to play Witcher and then came back and I had to remap it.
Yeah, but because on the Xbox One, I play my Xbox One a lot. I play different games.
Yeah.
I was actually jumping back and forth between this and BioShock because that's a game that I know really well. And
BioShock's the best.
So
when you get mad at this, you go over to BioShock.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, let me play something I know I'm good at, then jump back to Mega Man X.
Okay, so I have one more major qualm with this, and then we can at least get into some good stuff before we shut it down.
Yeah, because I do want to talk some.
There is some good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, I have 2 more qualms. One is that apparently you can control 0, but I mean, maybe it's different if you have an instruction booklet. Otherwise, nobody fucking tells you. And like, I was almost done the game because I got as far as the second level of Doppler's Castle and then gave up. Where I was like, holy fuck, I can switch to 0 anytime I want. I didn't know that, but apparently, if he dies, he's dead forever. So I never used him. I don't know if you used him. I
didn't know. I did know you could use him. I switched to him a couple of times because my thought process was, okay, he has the same type of moves as Mega Man X. But the problem with using 0 is that any upgrades you get as Mega Man X do not apply to 0.
So then he's going to quickly become
useless.
Yeah.
And so my big problem is that I get so used to using Mega Man X that when I switch over to 0 and then I jump and I try to dash in the air, I just end up killing myself. Because I'm like, oh, fuck, he doesn't have this same power up.
You know what? And listen, like maybe this is gonna catch heat from people, but I don't like Zero sucks.
Yeah,
I'm gonna die on this hill. Like Proto Man owns Zero.
I agree.
I love Proto Man. I want a game where you just play as Proto Man.
Can you play as Zero in the first and second one? I don't remember about the first one.
I don't think you can in the first one. I don't remember about the second one. It's been a long time. But anyway,
like I said, I've never played the second one. I do want to play it because I've heard that it's just as good as the first.
It's great, yeah.
Which I love.
Fuck Zero.
Yeah.
And then my last beef, and then we'll get into good stuff. In 4 of the levels, there's Dr. Light capsules where he gives you power-ups.
Yeah.
Right? And we'll get into because I actually like a couple of the power-ups. So we'll get to that in a minute. But then in the other 4 levels, there's hidden Dr. Light chambers where he'll install a chip in Mega Man. And each chip does something different. One, like, charges your buster automatically. One lets you take more damage. I don't remember what the other 2 does. Doesn't matter. But anyway, when you find one of these chambers, Dr. Light is like, you can only use one of the 4 chips at any given time.
Oh, what's the fucking point?
Right. But the way he said it, I'm telling you, I don't remember the exact words, but the way he says it makes me think like, okay, well, you can collect all 4 chips, and then you can just pick which one you equip. So I was like at any given moment. So I was like, okay. So the first one that I found, which is the one I got, is an automatically charging X-Buster that runs out of energy. You use it as like your 9th weapon, but so it's always charging. But every time you shoot it, it's like a weapon energy, like for any other weapon, and it starts to decrease. You only get 6 or 7 shots out of it. So then when I found one where you take less damage, I was like, well, that's the chip I want. And then he was like, oh, you already have a chip. Now you can't have this one.
Oh, my
So you're stuck,
God.
and you're completely stuck, and nobody tells you, and nobody explains it. And the first chip that you accidentally find, if you take it, now you can't get any of the other chips. You don't even know what the other chips do. And, Bradley, it turns out in the fucking Doppler's castle, there's you can get gold armor, apparently, in like the first level. And if you get gold armor, it's like all the chips, and it just makes the game like easy mode to get through Doppler's castle. And some people are on Reddit and stuff are like, well, only babies play with the gold armor. And I was like, well, then change my diaper. I'm a baby. I need the gold armor. I don't care. But then I go to get the gold armor, and they're like, to get the gold armor, you have to have all the weapons, or you have to beat all the bosses. You have to find all the upgrades for Mega Man X. You have to get all the E-tanks, and you have to get the 4 different. There's like these 4 like mecha suit things, and you have to have all those. But you can't have a chip installed. And there's no way to uninstall this stupid chip that I accidentally took. And so after hours and hours of playing this game, I can't get the gold armor because I accidentally installed this fucking chip.
Yeah, you walk into a room and Dr. Light's like, I'm going to give you a new power. And you're like, cool.
I've been trained to take the powers.
Yeah, why the fuck would
I was
say no?
so mad. And then I was like, I even read about it. People are like, well, you can always just look up the password to go to Doppler's castle with everything to get the gold armor. And then I was like, you know what? You know what else I could do? I could fucking play something else.
Or I could just put in the password that brings me to the final cutscene.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Kiss my ass. I was so done. I gave up. That was when I gave up. And now I'm done. My Joy-Cons are gone to Nintendo, hopefully to someday come back. And when they do come back, I'm never playing X3 again. And it really breaks my heart because, like I said, Mega Man X is my guy. This game can suck my ass.
Yeah.
Having that said that, there's a couple of good things.
Yeah, let's talk about some good things.
How much time? Yeah, keep going.
I'm gonna talk about something that I think is really cool about this game, but also kind of bunk.
Yeah.
So I don't want to continue to make qualms about this game because I do like it technically.
Sure.
I do technically think it's a pretty fun game.
But it's still Mega Man.
You were talking about the ride along mechs, which is like such a cool idea. What a great idea. But 4 of these levels have mechs, but you need to get the chip for the mech in another level before you can ride the fucking mech in this. So you have to play every level in this game a bunch of different times to unlock everything.
It's ridiculous. And like, just in case you don't know what we're talking about with the mechs, in the original Mega Man X, there's like those bad guys that ride around in those giant suits with the 2 big punching fists.
Yeah.
And you sit in them. So you can find a chip where then when you find these platforms, they'll warp you into one of those suits and then you can use it.
Yeah.
But you're right. You have to find the chip somewhere, then go to the levels where you can get into the teleporter things to be. It's fucking stupid.
And more often than not, you need those mechs to get to certain areas in the level to get like health upgrades or whatever, or like a Dr. Light chip or whatever. Like you need these mechs 100%. I only ever found one of the chips, and then I ended up going to like it ended up being for a mech that was in a level I already fucking beat.
And you know what? And quite frankly, like even at the opportunities where you can use the mechs, unless you need them to get to something, I find them useless.
Yeah.
I was like, just one more shitty thing about this fucking game.
Yeah. But like I said, actually riding the mechs, pretty fun.
Of course it is. It's always fun.
Now, this goes without saying, this is made in the same engine as X1 and 2, clearly.
Yeah.
and it looks fucking incredible. Like, it is a great looking game.
Okay, let's get into some positives, so at least we can send people home happy. I was actually reading about it, and apparently there's like some new chip in the cartridge or something. It is. I mean, like, I've never hid my fetish for 16-bit pixel art. I've loved it. This is amongst the best looking games on the Super Nintendo. The backgrounds are gorgeous. I do think that the bosses look cool. Mega Man looks rad. Zero looks rad.
It all looks
very
looks
bright,
great.
colorful.
Yeah. It's so much so, like, I love the aesthetic in this game so much so that when you open up the Legacy Collection, it asks you if you want to, like, round it out so it's not pixelized. And I'm like, fuck no.
No, fuck yeah. Pixel art's where it's at.
Yeah, give me the pixels. Fuck
so,
no.
agreed with you there. I love that. As I love with every Mega Man X game, once you get the ability... Okay, so this is actually a good and a bad thing.
Yeah.
One of the power-ups you can find is to power up the Buster. Did you get that?
The which one?
Where you can power up your Mega Buster.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
So I actually despise the extra powerful shot that the Buster does because it's like delayed. Like, it's a double shot, and you have to tap the shoot button twice when you charge it up all the way. So then the first shot are these two wavy lines that shoot around, and then the second shot is that huge blast through the middle.
Yeah.
But you have to tap it twice. And so many times, once I got this supercharged Buster, I would run at a bad guy. And just anyone that's ever played Mega Man knows you just run around holding the blaster button, so your blaster's always full, right? Like, that's just... So then when I see a bad guy, I release the blaster button. But then instead of it shooting the really powerful shot, it shoots those two wavy lines. Then you have to tap shoot again to shoot the big powerful shot. And I always forget, so I would like release the two wavy powerful lines, move, and then be like, oh yeah, tap the button, and now the big shot misses the guy I'm shooting at. I was like, that's fucking stupid, and it's a fucking stupid design by a bunch of stupid game developers.
You know what? This is actually just something I just thought about, and like, I wish that there was more foresight back in the 90s, because I'm thinking about the Mega Man X games, and I love one.
Yeah.
I really, really love one. I love the way that it's laid out. But I almost wonder if maybe, especially with the way that this one's built, where it's like, you get so frustrated that you're like, I didn't know I needed to go to this level first to get this fucking thing, and another level, yada, yada, yada. I almost wonder if the Mega Man X series would have been a little bit better as like a Metroidvania style.
So yeah,
where you're in Wily's castle the entire, or Doppler's castle the entire time.
Yeah, put a pin in that, because I wanted to, I have, well, yeah, fuck yeah. As much as I hate that upgraded blaster, I love the fact, and this is in all Mega Man X games, that once you get the upgraded blaster, not only can you upgrade the Mega Buster, but you get an additional attack with every special weapon you get, where you can charge up a bot, like any enemy's weapon, and then it does a second attack. I get such a hard on for that, because as soon as I get a hold of the Mega Buster upgrade in any Mega Man game, my first inclining is to go through each of my boss weapons and be like, well, now what does it do? Well, now what does it do? And some of them become fucking hoss weapons.
Yeah.
And I have always loved that about this franchise, because that feels to me like something they didn't have to do. Like, they could have just been like, you've got your boss weapons, you know what they do, that's fine.
Yeah.
But they give you these extra powerful versions of them, and you need the extra powerful versions of them to find certain items and stuff like that. And that's where, okay, so now I want to tie into the Metroidvania thing you brought up. One of the power-ups you can get in this game that I fucking thought was phenomenal is your helmet. And did you get that one?
I did not know.
When you get the helmet upgrade, when you go into every level, before you start moving, Mega Man's helmet shows a grid of the whole level as like a square by square by square grid, and it lights up any square where there's a hidden item. Oh. And you can only see it once, but it's very easy, particularly in today's world, to capture a screenshot. And then at any point you can like, okay, so once I go up 2 screens to the left, there's something hidden here.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite feature in any, and if you're listening to this and you make video games, which I don't know if anyone does, any good Metroidvania, at least by the end of the game, should give you maps where it's like, okay, you've got all your powers. Here's the map showing you everything you've missed. It's on you to figure out how to get it. Because that is my favorite thing to do, is go back and clean sweep an area.
That's one of my favorite things about I'm gonna catch some flax for this, but that's one of my favorite things about Metroid Other M on the Wii, and I know people hate that game, and
Yes,
technically, yeah, it's terrible.
Right.
Like, it's really fucking terrible. But once you beat the game, yeah, it tells you which rooms have the shit that you missed.
Every game should do that. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but it just makes things so much, because I'm that guy that wants to get everything, and it makes it so much easier. So when I got that, I was like, well, fuck yeah. Because once you have that, once you have that helmet upgrade, when you're on the level select, it shows you what items are in each boss's level on the level select screen, and it shows you which ones you've gotten.
Yeah.
And now it's a clean sweep. I'm like, okay. Instead of trying to remember, I have 7 of the 8 heart tanks. Which level did I not get the heart tank in? Shows you all of them. And then when you go into the level, it shows you what room that heart tank is in. And so once it did that, that got me thinking about that. And I was like, dude, the Mega Man series as a massive Metroidvania would be the tits. Like you said.
And that's what Castlevania did too, right? Because Castlevania was kind of more the Mega Man style where it's just level by level.
Yeah.
Not non-linear the way the Mega Man is, which is, I think, the charm of Mega Man, that it's non-linear.
Right. But take it one step further. Instead of it being like a level select mode, just a huge world. And there's 8 bosses in that huge castle, and you can go fight them in whatever order you want to.
Yeah,
but
to keep the Mega Man charm.
Absolutely. But as you beat them, those powers give you we've all, like, part of the charm of a Metroidvania game is seeing something and being like, well, I don't have the ability to get there yet, but I will have the ability to get there.
And this game has that. Like,
it
for
does.
instance, there's one part in I think it's the Blast Hornet stage where, like, you fall down and you look to your left, and there's a wall with cracks in it, and you're like, "Well, I don't have a bomb."
Right.
Now, but I feel like I could go through that.
Absolutely, right? And it's just like, and I was thinking that as I was playing it, I was like, I love that concept, but instead of making me pick one of 8 levels and fucking walk through the same level again, wouldn't it be so awesome if it was just one big world? And it was like, then when I beat Blast Hornet and I get his bombs, I'm like, well, now if I go back to like the fiery under level or part of the level where the fucking fire rhino is, I'm like, I bet you these bombs will blow up that wall now, and I could get. I was like, that would be such a great game. If they want to bring back the Mega Man X series, bring it back as a Metroidvania with one huge level.
You know
I
what?
would fucking pay so much money for that.
You know what someone should do is like somebody on the internet should just take this game and just edit all the maps together.
God, fuck yes.
It would be so good. It would be so good.
But you know what? Because it would be fun and it would be a great thing for Mega Man, they won't fucking do it.
No, absolutely not. They're
Drives
going to
me
keep
insane.
making the same thing, and which again, at the end of the day, the template works.
Totally.
Like, the template works fantastic.
9, 10, and 11, I love them all. I would kill for a new Mega Man X game that goes back to like the X1, X2 roots where it's just good. Like, like, you know what I mean? Like, just like
going back to your roots when you made less shitty games.
We don't need 3D shit. We don't need fucking lock-on technology. Like, none of that. Just
X8. That's like, it's like, I've never played it, but I've heard it's like a 3D platformer type.
Apparently,
thing.
it sucks.
Yeah,
just give me like, and like, you know what? Just like they did with like Mega Man 9 and Mega Man 10, where they went to that 8-bit graphic style and everything. It's
perfect.
We're fucking hot. I was like, why can't the next Mega Man X game, if it's not going to be a Metroidvania, which would be fucking incredible, then just make it that classic 16-bit art. Yeah. Release it as like a $30 game, maybe 20.
Yeah, on the eShop.
You know what I mean? I would buy that in a heartbeat. I would be so happy because playing this game really irritated me because I know Mega Man, and I was like, this looks like Mega Man, but this isn't Mega Man.
It's like that. It's like that meme where you see Mega Man X and it says, "This sparks joy," and then Mega Man X3, "This does not spark joy."
That's it. Like, it's just it. Like, Mega Man games are supposed to be hard. I have no problem with Mega Man games being hard. I have no problem with that. I consider it a badge of honor that I could finish most Mega Man games. But this one, it relies on just taking 2/3 of your damage on one hit. The bosses are so cheap and they're big and they just crash into you. And once you figure out the formula to a boss, then it just becomes boring. It just becomes they're gonna run at you, dodge them, hit them with the weapon, run at you, and over and over and over again.
I like a lot of the bosses in this game. I think that they're fun to play. Despite I think if they gave less damage, it would be more fun.
Right.
But there is one that I fucking hate, and I hate. I'll give you a reason why. I hate Blast Hornet. And here's why. Because the rest of the game teaches you that you're supposed to wall jump up to the top and go over like that.
Yeah.
And so that sort of becomes like what your brain is accustomed to.
Yeah,
but if you try to do it on Blast Hornet can hit any area of the stage at any time without warning.
Yeah.
And I hate that.
But once you have his weapon, you're a bitch.
Yeah. Like I said, I got pretty far into this game as a kid. It's just as an adult. I don't know. Apparently I'm too dumb now.
It just
I have no patience though, and I'll give you an example of this. I recently picked up Kingdom Hearts 3 on Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah,
and I played it for straight up maybe an hour and was like, this is fucking stupid. I'm moving on.
Yeah,
moving on.
I feel like that too,
stupid.
and that's part of the problem with this game. I think as a kid. Again, it was like, well, this is the game I have. This is the game I'm going to play.
Yeah.
Whereas now you have so much to play. I'm the same way. If a game doesn't catch me within about 45 minutes, a lot of the time I'm like, all right, fuck. I have too many other things I want to get to. The fact that I put as many hours into this game as I did, I'm not trying to sound like a hero to you fucking people listening right now, but I did this for you. I had no interest in fucking trying to get through this game. And I was so determined I was going to finish this game. And then I finally was just like, I can't take this anymore.
Me too. I was like, I can't wait. I can't, because like I got so close as a kid. I can't wait to finally say that I beat this game. And then like after a couple days, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to beat this before the podcast.
No. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was playing it on my Switch with my Joy-Con drift. And you think the game's fucking hard as it is? Now imagine that at any given moment, Mega Man's going to start running left. Or do you have any idea how many times I got to a boss fight? And you go through like classic Mega Man, you jump through the door. If you don't jump through the rattling up, rattling down doors, you're not playing Mega Man right. You know what? Because he freezes in his like jump pose and then lands. Yeah. So you've got a Mega shot charged up. The boss comes in, he does his little pose, his life fills up.
You get a free shot.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know how many times I missed that free shot because I let go and my Joy-Con will pull me to the left and shoot it to the back. And so then I know this isn't Mega Man X3's fault, but it just added another notch in my frustration fucking belt where I was just like, I can't take this anymore. My fucking Joy-Cons are pulling me to the left. This game is cheap. These bosses are cheap. Everything fucking hurts me. I can't find the power-ups that I need. And then when I do find the power-ups that I need, I can't have them because I accidentally took the wrong fucking power-up that it didn't explain to me that I couldn't fucking take. Where's Rush?
I pray to God. Yeah, where is Rush? What the fuck?
I know he's not an X.
I pray to God that I never get Joy-Con drift because I've been playing like the Castlevania anniversary collection. I can't fucking imagine how terrible that would be.
I've sent my Joy-Cons in right now, and I'm really hopeful they come back working because so many of those retro games on the Switch are useless with Joy-Con drift.
I bet you when they send in those Joy-Con drifts and fix them, refurbish them or whatever, I bet you they just fucking toss them in the garbage and send you new ones. Like,
I'd be fine with me. Yeah. As long as they work, I don't fucking care. Because I love the Switch, but it's a big problem.
I bet you they open it up, they look at something, and they're like, this thing's got drift. Throw it in the fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Send them a new one. But I bet you more often than not, they get Joy-Cons that they open up, they're like, this has no drift. These people are bitches. Fuck them.
Yeah. Oh, no, for sure they do.
Send it back just as is. Who gives a shit?
As
Fuck
is.
'em. Yeah.
Fucking guys. I'm done.
Yeah.
I feel better.
I do like this game, but yeah, because like the reason I picked this one, because you said, hey man, pick a Mega Man X game. Let's talk about a Mega Man X game. As I was like, when I was a kid, this one was my favorite.
Yeah.
Mega Man X3 was my favorite. And now as an adult, I'm like, why? Why was this my favorite? What as a kid did I really love about this? Was it because I could beat it or get close to beating it? Like I said, when I was a kid, I got to Doppler's Castle and I must have just said, fuck it. But is it because I persevered? It's like, I was thinking about this just now when we were talking about like, that was the game that you had. And I was thinking about when I was a kid and for Christmas, I got Star Fox Adventures on GameCube. And that's one of the worst fucking games I've ever played. But I've beat it because when I was a kid, it's just what I fucking had.
That's what you had.
It's
that's
just what I had. It's one of the worst fucking games I've ever played.
Yeah, that's it. We all have those. Every single person listening to this has those retro games that we all know. I'm like that with Bart versus the Space Mutants. I posted a Let's Play of it where I finished it. Everything. I could beat that game. A game sucks.
Yeah.
The only reason I could beat it is because I played it so much as a kid because that was the game I had, right?
Well, and I'm really, really grateful that we have the Mega Man X Legacy Collection, because if you genuinely think I'm gonna write down that fucking 16 character password every time, no, that ain't
saves are where it's at.
That's insane. And then having to go through each number every time I want to play the game.
I've never used passwords are fucking. Those are dud.
I never understood why we had them. Like it makes sense to save space on a cartridge, but in the Super Nintendo era, you had 16 megabytes to work with.
When the launch title, Super Mario World, came with 3 save files, there's no reason games couldn't have save files. Don't fucking come at me. Especially Mega Man. Listen, fucking Mega Man X3. Don't come at me that, we had to fill up the cartridge with bad guys, because you didn't, because half the levels are fucking empty. If you wanted to fill it up, you're like, we have to make sure that we leave enough room for all the secrets that you're going to have to play through the levels 472 times to find all of them. Then fuck, you're right. Yeah, maybe you had no room.
And you know what? Fuck that logic, and here's why. Mario World, the first Super Nintendo game, 96 levels.
Bigger.
This game, 10 levels.
Bigger and better.
No, 9. 10? 10? Is there 2 Doppler castles?
I know there's at least 2. There's probably 2 or 3.
10, maybe 12.
Yeah, not 90.
10 to maybe 12.
Okay, I'm done with this. I'm fucking angry. We got to score this thing. I'm trying to come up with unique ways to score it. X is the 24th letter of the alphabet. So out of letters, how many letters would you give Mega Man X3?
Out of 24. Ooh, that's not I would say like maybe 12.
All right.
12. It's a solid 50%. There's effort here.
Sure.
There's certainly effort here. Music's great, by the way. We didn't mention that. Music's fucking phenomenal.
Mega Man music is always phenomenal.
It barely needs to even be said.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'd probably go about 15. The thing is, like, I understand, like it doesn't quite apply because some of the later Mega Man X games suck, but for the most part, I've always considered Mega Man like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still good.
Yeah.
I just love Mega Man. I would say to anyone listening to this, because listen, I know there's probably a ton of you that have never played X3. Unless you're like a hardcore game collector that has to have it, do not spend hundreds of dollars on this cartridge because it is not worth it. Not when it's available on all these X collections and stuff for like $12.
Yeah.
Plus, then you've got, like you said, saves and stuff like that.
And
Play 1 and 2 before you ever worry about touching 3. But if you play 1 and 2 and you're like, I really need some more 16-bit Mega Man,
it's probably better than the rest of them.
Yeah, then I would recommend 3. But 1 and 2, we covered 1 a long time ago on the show, and I definitely plan on covering 2 eventually. 3 is meh.
Yeah. I'm sorry I brought this one to the table.
No, it's still not as bad as Echo the Dolphin. So we're fucking good. That's the new low on the show. So
or Star Fox Adventures.
Yeah, fair enough. Good stuff, buddy. Thank you for doing this.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me, Adam.
Done. That's going to do it for this week's episode. Bradley, thank you for inviting me over to your humble abode to talk Mega Man X3. But fuck you for making me play Mega Man X3. And for the rest of you guys, thank you so much for listening. As I mentioned off the top, the Patreon is no longer, at least temporarily, it's suspended. So please do not go there and give me your money. Just keep listening to the show. That's all I'm asking you to do. Just listen to the show. Maybe tell a friend. Maybe throw me a share. That's all I'm asking. And if you're really interested, check out our Let's Plays, youtube.com/rememberthegame. I'll be back on Sunday with episode 2 of Expansion Pass, which is free for the month of April. And I'll be back next Wednesday with episode 92 of the podcast. Take it easy, you guys. Stay safe. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the support. And I'll talk to you all again soon. Cheers.